Big news has now arrived on Gunners. You want to know all the details, so follow me until the end of the video. But first, if you are in love with Arsenal, show your love and subscribe to THE channel now and turn on notifications. Here we post daily news and behind the scenes of the biggest club in THE Premier League, Arsenal. Thank you. Postecoglou's shock appointment could give Arsenal a boost in their Premier League title push. In a twist few saw coming, Ange Postecoglou is reportedly set to take over as the new manager of Nottingham Forest, and that news might just bring a quiet smile to the face of Mikel Arteta. The Australian coach's unexpected departure from Tottenham at the end of a rollercoaster 2024-25 season left fans and pundits stunned. Despite winning the Europa League, his Spurs side finished a disappointing 17th in the Premier League with 22 losses, a collapse that ultimately cost him his job. Now, he's poised to return to the touchline, and his first match in charge? A trip straight back to North London to face Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. It's a storyline packed with drama, the former Spurs boss returning to take on their fiercest rivals, now leading a Forest side desperate for stability. And for Arsenal, the timing couldn't be better. Arteta's track record against Postecoglou speaks for itself. In their 4 previous encounters, the Spaniard remains unbeaten, with 3 wins and a draw, scoring 8 goals and conceding 5. The Gunners dominated those matches, even if the scorelines were often tighter than they should have been. Arsenal had the control, but lacked the killer instinct to fully capitalize on their superiority. This time, that might change. Postecoglou's footballing philosophy, an exciting, attacking style, brought both dazzling goals and gaping holes at the back during his time at Spurs. And while Forest may not have the same offensive weapons Tottenham did, they also don't carry the same expectations. That combination could lead to chaos, and in Arsenal's case, opportunity. There's also the home advantage. Forest have a woeful record at the Emirates, losing their last 4 visits and conceding 15 goals in the process. Arsenal, on the other hand, are coming off a 5-goal demolition of Leeds United at home. Despite a narrow and frustrating loss to Liverpool, Arteta's side is still very much in the title race, and this managerial change at Forest could tip things slightly in their favour at a crucial point in the season. Of course, a new manager bounce is always a risk. There's a certain unpredictability when a fresh face takes over, especially one as charismatic and tactically bold as Postecoglou. But realistically, he'll have very little time to implement his ideas before facing a well-drilled Arsenal side at full throttle. For Arteta, the biggest challenge may not be the system Forest plays, but rather individual threats and moments of improvisation, things harder to prepare for when tactical patterns are still being formed. His staff will likely shift focus from system analysis to exploiting individual weaknesses, a strategy Arsenal has executed well in the past against Postecoglou-led teams. And while this may shake up the immediate preparation, the bigger picture still favours Arsenal. They're a team with momentum, depth, and a clear identity, something Forest, under new management, will be scrambling to develop. In the end, Postecoglou's appointment may create headlines, but it could also quietly benefit Arsenal. At this stage in the title race, every small advantage matters. And walking into a transitional Forest side, led by a manager still finding his footing, might just give Arteta and the Gunners exactly the kind of opening they need. For Arsenal, the timing of this managerial shake-up couldn't be more ideal. As the Gunners enter a decisive stretch of the season, with the title race tightening and every point becoming more precious, facing a Forest side in transition presents a strategic advantage, one that Arteta will be keen to capitalize on. Postecoglou is known for transforming the identity of a team quickly, instilling belief and attacking ambition. But implementing such a philosophy takes time, and Forest are in no position to wait. They're hovering dangerously close to the relegation zone, desperate for points, and now led by a manager who, despite his European success, still has much to prove in terms of consistency in the Premier League. There's also the emotional weight of Postecoglou's return to the Emirates, not just as a new opponent, but as a former Spurs boss. Arsenal supporters won't soon forget the intensity of the short-lived, but memorable rivalry between the two managers. Postecoglou may now be wearing different colours, but the energy surrounding the fixture will be familiar and hostile. Off the pitch, the news has already sparked reaction. Fans are divided. Some see it as a bold move for Forest, a club trying to reinvent itself mid-season. Others view it as a gamble, questioning whether Postecoglou's expansive style suits a squad built for survival rather than spectacle. Pundits have weighed in too, suggesting that while his appointment adds intrigue, it does little to change the immediate balance of power in a match against one of the league's most well-structured sides. From a tactical perspective, Arteta will approach this match with caution, but also with confidence. Arsenal have the momentum, the structure, and the individual quality to take control early. But they'll also know that chaos, the kind Postecoglou teams often bring, can be dangerous. The game could be more open than expected, which suits Arsenal's fluid attacking players. What's more, this match could become a psychological turning point. A strong performance and comfortable win against Forest under new management wouldn't just secure 3 points, it would send a message. It would reinforce Arsenal's ability to stay composed amid external noise, managerial drama, and unpredictable opposition. That kind of statement win is exactly what title contenders need at this stage of the season. And let's not forget, Arsenal's fixtures don't get any easier. With tough matches on the horizon, including potential title deciders, they need to take full advantage of opportunities like this one, where a team is unsettled, adapting, and potentially vulnerable. So while Postecoglou's arrival in Nottingham may dominate the headlines, the real impact could quietly unfold at the Emirates. A misstep for Forest under their new boss could tighten the noose around their survival hopes, and give Arsenal a clearer path toward the Premier League crown. Because in a title race this competitive, it's not always about the big games, it's about seizing the moments when others are distracted. And Arteta, calm as ever, knows exactly how to do that. Arsenal's forgotten transfer could be the key to Arteta's title charge. While the international break nears its end, Arsenal fans have more than just the return of club football to look forward to. There's a new name in the squad who might just make all the difference. Piero Hincapié, Arsenal's late summer signing, has flown under the radar since joining from Bayer Leverkusen on deadline day. But judging by his recent performance with Ecuador, he might turn out to be one of the most impactful signings of the season. With most of Arsenal's first-team stars away on international duty, Mikel Arteta has had a quiet training ground. Only a handful of players have stayed behind, recovering from injuries and preparing for the return of Premier League action. Among those yet to properly link up with the squad is Hincapié, who immediately jetted off to South America after signing. Despite the lack of fanfare, Hincapié has quietly been showing why Arsenal moved for him. In Ecuador's recent World Cup qualifier against Paraguay, a tough, hard-fought 0-0 draw, the 21-year-old defender put on a rock-solid display. Starting on the left side of a back three, he finished with the second-highest match rating in his team, 7.6, via FOTMOB, just behind the goalkeeper. Calm under pressure, physically imposing, and with excellent positional awareness, he played a key role in shutting down the opposition's attack. What makes Hincapié even more exciting is his versatility. He's comfortable as a centre-back or left-back, has the pace to recover quickly, and isn't afraid to push forward. He's strong in duels, smart on the ball, and has the kind of forward-thinking passing range that could perfectly complement players like Victor Gyökeres in Arsenal's attacking transitions. Ecuador's next challenge is a tough one. They face Argentina this Wednesday night, UK time. But once that's done, Hincapié will fly back to London and could finally take part in his first training session with Arsenal on Friday. That leaves a narrow window ahead of Saturday's early kickoff against Nottingham Forest. It might be too soon for his debut, but the buzz around him is growing. If his performances for Ecuador are anything to go by, Arsenal may have quietly pulled off a masterstroke. Hincapié could become a key figure in Arteta's push for the title, a forgotten transfer that might just transform their season. Although Hincapié's arrival hasn't made major headlines in England, overshadowed by bigger names and flashier deals, those closely following his development know exactly what he brings to the table. Arsenal's decision to secure him on an initial loan, with a view to a permanent £45 million deal in 2026, wasn't a rushed panic buy. It was a calculated investment in a player who's already proven himself on the European stage with Bayer Leverkusen and now on the international level with Ecuador. What's even more compelling is the timing. With Arsenal dealing with a string of early season injuries, especially in defence, Hincapié could find himself thrust into the spotlight sooner than expected. Arteta has had to rely on a patched-together backline, and the return of a physically dominant, tactically astute defender could be exactly what the team needs to stabilise results and maintain momentum. There's already a quiet optimism around London Coney. Internally, staff are impressed by the reports coming from the Ecuador camp, not just about his performances, but about his attitude. Focused, disciplined, and eager to adapt, Hincapié is said to be determined to prove he belongs at the top level in English football. If he adapts quickly, he could offer a dynamic new dimension to Arteta's tactical setup. His ability to play as a left-sided centre-back in a back three or slide into the left-back role gives Arsenal more flexibility, something Arteta highly values as he continues to evolve the team's shape and playing style. His presence could allow Oleksandr Zinchenko to push further forward or rest during key fixtures, and even offer cover in systems where Gabriel or Saliba are rotated. The Premier League is, of course, a different beast. But Hincapie has already faced top-tier opposition in the Bundesliga and with his national team, and held his own. Facing Argentina this week, led by Lionel Messi and sitting comfortably atop the South American qualifying table, will be another huge test. But if he impresses again, the buzz around his name will only grow louder. Fans have already begun to notice. Social media chatter has picked up, with clips of his interceptions and line-breaking passes for Ecuador making the rounds on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Some are even calling him the missing piece for Arteta's defense, high praise for a player yet to make his Arsenal debut. If everything clicks, the adaptation, the fitness, the chemistry, Piero Hincapie could be more than just a solid addition. He could be a game-changer in Arsenal's hunt for the Premier League title. Sometimes, the most impactful signings aren't the ones splashed across headlines, but the ones who quietly arrive, step up when needed most, and never look back.